Okay, welcome back. This is where we left off. This photo, again, if you recall, we pasted a lot of settings from a couple photos behind, and we're just kind of adjusting exposure, temperature, and so forth. So we're going to move on. And already this photo is pretty good. I might just mess with the exposure just a little bit, maybe bring down the temperature a tad, and maybe go down to the hue of orange and push it up so it's not so red. And that looks great. Because I've changed this already. Remember, you always have to remember your eyes change every day depending on the light you're in, depending on the brightness of your screen, and so forth. So figure out what works best for you, and then edit then. So I just selected these 3 photos, and I'm going to just click sync. And I have a couple that I edited ahead of time. I believe there were some that I delivered to them a couple days before their wedding, so we'll go into those. Just going to straighten these a little bit. And this next one's black and white. I'm just going to leave that. I love the colors and tones on this. It's a beautiful shot. I'm just going to straighten it though. Move on. Straighten and move on. And on to bridal portraits. I'm going to paste the settings from before. Made her skin pretty red. So we can go down here to the hue of orange and kick it back to the right. And then I'm going to bring the temperature down a little bit. Exposure up. Somewhere around there. Move on. Paste the settings from before. Straighten out. Move on. Paste the settings. Grab the hue of orange, push it to the right just so the hands aren't a little bit that red. Move on. Actually, let's go back here. Copy these settings. Paste them. Skin's a little pink, so I'm going to still grab this orange and go to the right. That looks a little bit more natural to my eye. Maybe temperature up a touch. Right there. And I'm going to just select all these photos and sync them real quick. That's a great shot. Love the light. Love the green. It's a very bright shot. Photos of him. I'm going to bring the exposure down just a touch. Exposure down. Straighten. Exposure down. And then we're done with that. So now we're on to this stuff. And it looks kind of out of focus. And it definitely is back focused. Or front focused, it looks like. Still recoverable. That's probably what a medium format film would actually look like. It'd probably be that soft. I'm just kidding. All the film guys are going to bag on me now. So let's warm it up. Somewhere around there. Grab the hue of orange again. Go to the right. If you can tell, this is how I control skin tone with the hue of orange, as you can see. So you can you can obviously go crazy with it, but I'm going to go to the right so it's a little less red. Somewhere around there. Still want this photo to be pretty warm. It wasn't extremely warm on this day. I can't remember. Maybe it was. Maybe it was like, oh no, this was a warm wedding. And then I'm going to grab some shadows and pull them back in. Her skin tone's looking a little flat. It could be warmer. So let's go down. And I'm going to just grab a brush and let's just see. So I try to avoid this if there's a lot of shots coming up that are similar, because then I'd have to do the same thing. But let's just try this. Brush, warm it up a little bit. Just a 2. It's probably barely doing anything. Straighten it a little bit. Exposure up. Let's move on. Great shot. I'm going to go back here. Still doesn't look straight to me. I'm going to copy these settings and go here. I do like how this photo is starting to look already. And I just pasted and I'm not liking that. So let's go back, undo. I'm going to warm it up a little bit. Not too much. And then the skin tone, again, go to the right. Maybe the saturation of it, bring it down just a touch. I'm going to make this a really bright shot. Something like that. But I'm still seeing a little bit too much red in the hands down here. We can try to bring up the temperature a little bit. I'm going to stick with that and then paste these settings all the way to there. Sync. Moving on. Straighten it. Exposure down. Move on. Straighten it. Exposure down. One click. Lips look a little funny in this kiss, so I'm gonna see what it looks like. We're gonna brighten it up. They're in the shadows a little bit, so it's a little bit cooler. So I'm gonna make it warmer. I'll keep it and let them decide if they like it or not. Detail shot. Let's paste the settings from before. Exposure up. Hands a little pink. We'll bring the tint down a little bit, more toward the green side. Hue of orange, we could go to the right a little bit. That's okay. I'm not too happy with the hand color on that, but we'll move on. Can't stick on a photo for too long. That's good. Let's move on. I just pasted the settings from the shot before. Exposure, I'm going to bring this one up. Again, they're in the shadows, so I'm going to warm it up a little. Throw magenta in there. Warm it up a little bit more. Straighten it. While I'm doing all this, I'm doing like a million things at once. Shadows, bring some back in there. Exposure up. Find that sweet spot somewhere. I'm going to grab the hue of orange and bring it down again. And then the saturation of orange, bring it up. Magenta, come back maybe? Yeah, let's leave it at that with a kick up of exposure. Move on. Looks like this is my wife's shot. Nothing much needs to happen to this photo, just a little straightening. And then the hue of orange, bring it back to the right. And I'm going to copy these settings in case she has another shot coming up. It's one of my photos. I'm just going to exposure up, straighten it, warm it a little bit. Exposure up just a touch. Highlights down, exposure up. Temperature is a little too warm now for me. But I'm still struggling with the skin tones. Their skin tones are obviously both different. And that's something you'll have to work with and I guess combat when you're editing photos. But I guess that's just life of an editor. So what I'll do is I'm going to grab the saturation of orange. Let me try to bring it back up until I can see what I like. Exposure up. Let's just get it a little bit brighter. Temperature up a touch. And I'm going to stick it at that. Copy the settings from before. Shadows, bring them back in. Exposure up a click. Move on. I'm going to paste the settings from before. That pasted my crop if you have not noticed. I'm going to reset my crop. Exposure down. Temperature down a touch. Magenta toward green. I'm not sure how I feel about this photo, but I'm going to keep it. Okay, guys, I got to stop for now. Let's move on to the next video, though. Below, there will be a link. If it's not there yet because it's not out, it will be there once it's updated. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I appreciate all your support. And I could not be here without you guys. I would not be doing this if I didn't have fans. So thank you so much. I'm very humbled and appreciate all you guys. Please click that like button, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.